It's gonna follow you. Somebody gave it to me, and I passed it to you.
You don't believe me. Mom? No, it's me.
Everything's okay.
Welcome back, everyone. Today we'll recap a 2014 American supernatural psychological horror film named It Follows. Before we start, it is a request to please like and comment on the video as it will help us to grow our reach. At the beginning of the movie, we see a girl named Annie flee from her house in fear. But there is no visible threat. She takes her parents' car and drives to the beach, where she tearfully tells her dad over the phone she loves him. By dawn, it is revealed that she had been brutally murdered. Next, we see a girl named Jay go on a date with her new boyfriend Hugh to the movies. Hugh points out a young girl in a yellow dress in the back of the theater. But when Jay says she cannot see the girl, Hugh becomes unnerved and asks that they leave. The next day, Kelly asks her about her date, to which Jay tells her that Hugh was acting kind of weird last night. On another date, Hugh and Jay have sex in his car, but afterward, he goes to get something out of the trunk of his car and incapacitates Jay with chloroform, causing her to faint. Now when she wakes up, she finds herself in an abandoned building tied up to a wheelchair. Hugh tells her that he is not going to hurt her, and that he needs her to remember what he is saying. He explains to her that he has passed an entity onto her through intercourse. It will perpetually be walking towards her location at all times, no matter where she is. Then he takes her to the corner of the building, where she sees a nude woman coming toward them. He tells her that she can get rid of it. She just has to sleep with someone as soon as she can, and pass it along. The entity is slow but is not dumb. If it catches her, it will kill her and will come after him. Now that nude woman starts walking toward Jay, and Hugh starts taking her away from there. He tells her never to go into a place that does not have more than one exit. Next, we see Kelly and her friends playing cards outside their house. When Yara asks her where is Jay, only then Hugh drives Jay home in the same condition, and flees from there. Then we see the police at her house and they ask her some questions. She tells them about the naked women and where Hugh lives, but she has never been inside. The next day, we learn that the police cannot find the naked woman or Hugh. Here Jay is in the washroom when a ball hits her window. When she looks outside, there is nothing but the ball. But when she drinks the water, we see a boy peeping inside through the window. Then when she is in her class, she sees an old woman in a hospital gown walking toward her, invisible to others. She gets terrified seeing her, and leaves the class without saying anything to anyone. Then she again sees her in the hallway walking towards her, and Jay flees in fear. From there, she goes straight to Kelly and Paul and tells them about the old lady. She also reveals that Hugh has passed it on to her. Kelly says that she should tell Mom what she saw, but she says no. Paul says that he will stay at their house tonight and make sure nothing happens to her. Now in the night when everyone is sleeping, Jay comes to Paul and says she can't sleep. She sits there on the couch with him and the two starts talking. Then all of a sudden they hear the sound of glass breaking. Paul goes to investigate and tells her that there is a broken window in the kitchen, but there is no one there. He goes upstairs to Kelly to call the police, and here Jay sees a disheveled, urinating, half-naked woman walking toward her. She gets terrified seeing her and runs upstairs and locks herself in her room. Then others ask her to open the door, but she says that it is in the house and she saw it. Paul tries to convince her that there is no one here, and then she opens the door and lets them in. They both try to calm her down, but then someone knocks on the door and tries to open it, and when Kelly opens the door, Yara is there. Just then a tall man from behind Yara enters her room, seeing which Jay gets terrified and flees the house. While she is fleeing, her neighbor Greg sees her. Jay comes to a playground away from home and sits on a swing. Then after some time, Kelly and her friends also reach there, and she tells her they will figure it out. She asks her what is she running from. Then Greg also comes there and Jay thinks that it is the same entity, but he asks them if they are alright. Now here she tells him about Hugh, and says that they have to find him. Then they all set out with Greg to find Hugh, and they enter his house. His house is in dilapidated condition, and it is here that Paul finds a photo of Hugh in a magazine. He shows the photo to Jay, and from his jacket, they come to know about his school. Then they go to his school to find out about him, where they learn that his real name is Jeff Redmond. From there they go straight to his house. Jeff's mother answers the door, and Jay realizes that the naked woman Saul was in the form of Mrs. Redmond. Here Jeff explains that the entity began pursuing him after a one-night stand, and that she can pass it on by having sex with someone else. Greg finds his words rubbish, on which Jeff says he is not safe either. If it kills Jay, it gets him, and goes straight down the line to whoever started it. Greg then drives them to his family's lake house. The next morning Greg teaches Jay to shoot a revolver. Now during the day, all of them are sitting on the banks of the lake, when Yara comes out of the bushes behind and starts coming toward them. But then we see that Yara is in the water, and behind Jay is the entity in the form of Yara. Then that entity grabs her hair, and seeing this, everyone else gets very scared. Paul wards it off by breaking a chair over its body, and then all of them run away from there and come to the garage. Jay shoots it several times until it falls over, but it recovers unharmed and starts knocking on the door. Then the door breaks down, and Greg tells them from outside that there is nothing here. Then he leaves from there, but that entity comes there again. Jay flees from the back door and drives away in Greg's car, but crashes into a cornfield. Now she wakes in a hospital with a broken arm. Then she hears someone's footsteps, which scares her a lot, but it was just a nurse. Then after a while, we see Greg and Jay getting intimate, as he does not believe the entity exists. Now after 3 days Jay asks Greg if he saw it, to which he says not yet. Days later, Jay sees the entity in the form of Greg walking toward Greg's house, smashing a window at Greg's house, and entering. Jay tries to warn the real Greg by telephone, but he does not answer. She runs into the house, and finds the entity in the form of Greg's half-naked mother knocking on his door. It looks at her and again starts knocking on the door, and as he opens the door, it jumps on him. Jay goes there and sees the entity having sex with a dead Greg. Now seeing this, she gets very scared and flees from there, and spends the night outdoors. Now the next morning when she wakes up, she hears some sounds. She comes to the beach, where she sees 3 young men on a boat. She then undresses and walks into the water. Now at home, Paul, willing to take the risk, offers Jay the opportunity to pass it on to him, but she refuses. Next, we see them all going somewhere, and while leaving, Jay sees the entity standing on the roof of her house. Then they all come to a swimming pool. The group plans to kill the entity by luring it into it, and dropping electrical appliances into the water. Jay enters the pool, and they all start waiting for that entity to come there. Suddenly, Jay says that that entity has come there, but no one else was able to see it. She points toward it and says that she is just standing there staring at her. She then says it moving and tells them that she wants to come out of the pool. Now instead of entering the pool, it throws the devices at Jay. She realizes that the entity has taken the appearance of her deceased father. She tries to point at the entity, and while firing at an invisible target, Paul accidentally wounds Yara. Now when he shoots it a second time, the bullet hits its hand, and then following Jay's instructions, Cully covers it with a sheet. Paul then shoots it on the head, causing it to fall into the pool. Now as Jay tries to get out of the pool, it pulls her underwater by the ankle. Paul shoots it again in the head and it sinks to the bottom, allowing Jay to escape. Paul asks her if she can still see the entity. She approaches the pool and sees no body, but a mist of blood. Later, Jay and Paul have sex in Jay's house. That night, Paul drives through town, passing prostitutes. Later, Jay and Paul walk down the street holding hands, as a figure walks behind them, and the movie ends here. Please like and subscribe to my channel and click the bell icon never to miss new video updates. Thanks for watching!